Hey guys, welcome back. Friday. Um, I know I dropped a lot of stuff this week so far. It's going to keep going. I know I talked about bringing you guys a speed duel deck for Gaia the Fierce Knight. So we're going to do that today. First off, you're going to want to use the Knight of Legends skill that came in the newest structure builds. Um, it's the whole key to this whole build. We're going to set that there. We're going to be using 3 copies of Charging Gaia, which you'll find in there. 2 copies Curse of Dragon should have also been in there. 3 copies Gaia the Fierce Knight, definitely in there. 2 copies Sphere Karibo. Sorry that these ones are foil. But I got these during the, I believe it was the first set, actually. But you're going to want to run 2. And then for all the spells we're going to use, 3 copies of the Bashing Shield. 2 copies of Offerings to the Doomed. 2 copies of Polymerization. And 3 copies of Summoner's Art. That's going to round out the main deck to 20 cards. And then for the extra deck, I'm still going to have Blue Eyes and Thousand Eyes Restrict, just because I'm always carrying these cards. But I'm actually going to have 3 copies Gaia the Dragon Champion again. If I only carry the 1 card, well, that kind of telegraphs the whole strategy. But again, a full stack makes it look like I have some options. So yada, 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 whichever. But we'll actually be able to fusion, if we want, for the Gaia Dragon Champion. Now, for anybody who just wanted the deck list, you guys are obviously free to go. There's plenty of other videos on YouTube to watch. I do have quite a small collection going. Maybe check one of those out if you haven't already, but I'm not going to judge you if you guys go and watch somebody else. Now, as far as everybody who wants to know why I built this way, let's go ahead and rewind, go back to our skill card. So the first thing that you need to know is that you can activate this during the main phase. Each turn, 1 Gaia the Fierce Knight that you normal summon can be done so without tributes, which is why 3 Summoner's Arts. Look, you're going to want to play him. So we're going to want to make sure that he's always able to be put into the hand or is already there. It will also help out if you drew the Polymerization. This way that you can get the additional summon by specialing out your fusion monster. Continuing this, you apply the following skills while you control Gaia the Fierce Knight or Gaia the Dragon Champion. And that is that if they attack a defense monster, we can inflict piercing damage. And if the damage dealt is through the effect of this skill, we get to draw 2 cards and discard 1 card. Now, the second skill is the drawback, and that is that we may not activate set cards in the spell trap zone, which is why none of my handy-dandy trap cards are around. It's why I'm not running Champion's Vigilance. It's why... Well, it's not why I'm not running Waking the Dragon. We could obviously do that. There's no rule against it, and in fact, we would leave it set anyway. Adhesion Trap Hole, Floodgate, that's a Trap Hole. Adhesion Trap Hole, Floodgate Trap Hole. That there's a reason I'm not running any of these, and it's that last portion of the skill. So, real quick, Charging Gaia the Fierce Knight can be normal summoned without tributes if it is done so. The original attack will become 1900, which makes it the strongest, quote-unquote, 4-star, non-tribute, while not using a skill card to perform that. If this card is tributed, you could add 1 Blackluster Soldier monster from the deck to the hand. You use each effect once per turn. We're not running the BLS in here. That is going to be another speed duel deck, maybe relatively soon. I'm not sure. Depends on how close we end up cutting it to the release of the Battle City setup. And that is already prepaid at my local OTS as well. So, I got to go ahead and support the guys who support us. 2 Curse of Dragon. Wait, before I go any further, that is not to say that I'm sponsored. I'm not sponsored. My local OTS owner is just one hell of a guy, and he's always let us just hang out at the card shop and run our playtests and everything, just so that's not misconstrued. Back to this. Curse of Dragon at 2. Again, we can search it anytime we want through the Summoner's Art spell card. And mostly we're doing this to get a second body on the field real quick to be able to play Gaia, the Dragon Champion. And again, this is just so we can overwhelm the opponent beatdown style. So 2 copies of that to just make it a little consistent. If you just want to run a single, that's fine. You can add 1 to any other card in this deck, and Sphere Karibo is definitely an option there. 3 Gaia the Fierce Knight. Again, kind of not a deck to play with him if you're not running, you know what I meant to say. Moving on. Sphere Karibo's in here because of its hand trap ability. And it is half of enemy controller. So when the opponent's monster declares an attack, and it's important to note that that does not mean a direct attack, any attack declared by the opponent, pitch this from hand to graveyard, change the attacking monster to defense. And then if you were playing rituals too, you could banish this card from the graveyard. You guys probably remember that portion of the effect from when I ran Thousand Eyes Spell. And again, right now I'm only running the 2. Obviously, again, if you didn't value the Curse of Dragon play as much, you could, of course, modify these back and forth. But then I would also suggest that you modify the polymerization count. So next up is our Bashing Shield. Now, as far as equips go, this one's actually pretty cool. So it can only be equipped to a normal summoned or set monster. So out of the monsters in here, it's probably never going to see a Curse of Dragon. But charging Gaia at 19 and regular Gaia at 23. And we will be able to give that card an additional 1,000, bringing them up to 29 and 33 respectively. And again, a regular normal Gaia the Fierce Knight played with no tributes is still considered a normal summon through the Night of Legend, and this will allow you to beat face on cards like Blue Eyes. And because this isn't a targeting effect towards the opponent's cards, this isn't going to hurt you. You'll still be able to get your damage off. And unfortunately, it won't be considered piercing damage from the Night of Legend, so you won't get your draw effect on that one, but it's fine. This still lets you overpower a lot of cards. And if you manage to not overpower something, the last sentence here, you take no battle damage from attacks involving it. And again, if you put this on a weaker card, and again, I don't know anything but Mahavilo for the next set. I accidentally saw that. But, like, you could attack into large defenses and still not take recoil damage, or you could, again, your opponent could overpower you, and at least you won't take damage from that round. So, very cool card. We are running 2 offerings to the Doomed. Again, I figured if our opponent is forced into defense mode, the Night of Legend is going to start giving us that draw 2, drop 1, at which point we can freely give up the next draw phase. Again, a 20-card deck with a 4-card opening hand is 16 left, which means you could attack 8 times before you would deck yourself out if you didn't draw for your normal draw phase ever. So you get less than 8 attacks against defense monsters before you have the unfortunate luck to deck yourself out. Offerings to the Doomed will slow that down, and unlike Tribute to the Doomed, we won't have to discard a card should we be lacking in a hand. The only caveat here is we have to target, and it has to be a face-up monster on the field. Other than that, Offerings to the Doomed, great spell card for this. Again, polymerization, quick play, or, it's just a quick play going for the Dragon Champion so that we can produce 2 monsters on an opening turn and perform more battle damage and give our opponent a little more pressure. And Summoner's Art is here just for hand correction. So, all of that said, this is not a bad build. And going back through it one more time of all the things that you would need, pretty sure the Dragon Champion came with the structure deck. The skill card came with it. Structure came common in the structure. Bashing Shields are from a set. Offerings from the Doom should be from a set, or maybe it was in one of the structures. The build definitely came with polymerizations, and I'm not sure on the Summoner's Arts. I think it's been printed once or twice already in speed duels. So for the most part, if you've been keeping up with the set releases, this is not an expensive deck to put together. And honestly, if you're just buying the singles anyway, still not terribly expensive for you to put together. So I hope that you guys get a chance to play test this. If you're looking for a place to do that, Dueling Network is back online. They're calling it Dueling Book now. All the controls are the same, but they allow speed duels nowadays. And I've been watching a lot of people play on there because you can literally just go and spectate if you want, which is one of my favorite things to do. So I will see you guys next time. I'm going to get another deck together. Maybe we'll do a casual, budgeted version of the tunes next. That seems like a plan. So we'll see you next time.